Naoya Inoue's journey through the brutal, beautiful world of professional boxing is a tale steeped in resilience, precision, and an unwavering hunger for greatness. Born in Japan, he took his first steps into the ring at just 5 years old, long before he could understand the weight of gloves or the echoes of legacy. From that moment, it seemed his trajectory was etched in stone. But destiny is rarely straightforward, especially in a sport that demands blood, bone, and willpower. Inoue's path to glory was paved with thunderous knockouts, tactical genius, and moments of harrowing vulnerability that tested him far beyond physical endurance. His story, however, is not simply one of an athlete chasing titles. It is a living embodiment of obsession, sacrifice, and the unrelenting pursuit of excellence, even when the cost is high. As a youth, Inoue cultivated a reputation in Japan's amateur boxing circuits, a terrain dominated by discipline and honor. He amassed a record of 75 wins to only 6 losses, a mark that underlined not just success but his growing mastery of the sport's finer aspects: timing, footwork, angles, and adaptability. In 2010, he caught the eye of international observers by clinching a silver medal at the Asian Youth Championship. It was his signal to the world that he wasn't merely a local prodigy, but a name to watch on the global stage. The transition from amateur to professional boxing, though often daunting, proved to be a seamless leap for Inoue. While many fighters struggled to adapt to the pace and brutality of the pro game, Inoue seemed to thrive under pressure, as if the stakes fueled his already ferocious ambition. He debuted professionally in 2012, and from the onset, his performances bore the hallmark of calculated savagery. He wasn't just winning. He was dismantling his opponents with frightening efficiency. Inoue combined speed, accuracy, and footwork in such a way that his movements appeared choreographed yet deadly. The boxing world took notice. By 2014, he had already captured his first world title, and each subsequent fight added to the mythos surrounding him. By 2017, Inoue had amassed a 15-0 record and was the proud holder of the WBO junior bantamweight title. It was around this time he took a leap that would further propel him into the global spotlight. The decision to move up in weight and take on the sport's toughest tournament, the World Boxing Super Series. There, against the best in the bantamweight division, Inoue sought to not just win but dominate. In the tournament's quarterfinals, he faced Juan Carlos Payano, a seasoned former world champion. What transpired was less of a fight and more of a statement. Inoue, showing a blend of patience and aggression, waited for his moment before unleashing a brutal barrage that left Payano crumpled on the canvas within moments. It was a performance that echoed through the boxing community. Then came Emmanuel Rodriguez in the semifinals, the IBF champion, and a man considered one of the division's most technically gifted boxers. Rodriguez held his own briefly in the opening minute, but it wasn't long before Inoue found his range. He targeted the body with punishing left hooks and ripped through Rodriguez's defense with alarming speed. Within 2 rounds, the Puerto Rican fighter had been dropped multiple times and the bout was called. Inoue's combination of speed, precision, and instinct proved too overwhelming. With each fight, Inoue wasn't just winning, he was terrorizing. Analysts began placing him high in pound-for-pound rankings, and his fights became must-see events. His ability to strike with devastating force while simultaneously making microscopic defensive adjustments painted the picture of a complete fighter. Then came the final of the World Boxing Super Series, Naoya Inoue versus Nonito Donaire. Donaire, a future Hall of Famer and 4-division champion, was regarded as past his prime by many. But with experience, grit, and power still in his arsenal, he represented the sternest test Inoue had ever faced. What unfolded in that bout would become the defining moment of Inoue's career, a bout not only of skill but of spirit. The stage was set in Saitama, Japan, with an atmosphere electric in anticipation. From the outset, Inoue attempted to impose his rhythm. His movement was crisp, his jab piercing, and his combinations flowed with ease. Yet Donaire proved a puzzle not easily solved. In the second round, the veteran landed a vicious left hook that fractured Inoue's right orbital bone. The pain was instant and the effect was clear. For the first time, Inoue was visibly hurt, his rhythm disrupted, and his vision compromised. Where others might have folded or panicked, Inoue adapted. He kept fighting, relying more on instinct and grit than on the flawless timing that had carried him thus far. Donaire, smelling blood, upped the tempo. He targeted the damaged side with clinical accuracy, using angles and pressure to keep Inoue off balance. But Inoue, even with a broken face and impaired sight, did not retreat. He began to counter, his punches still sharp, his will unbroken. The fifth round marked a turning point. Inoue launched a brutal left hook that rocked Donaire and reminded the Filipino legend that the storm was far from over. Back and forth they went, trading momentum, testing limits. By the eighth round, Inoue was bleeding heavily, his body bruised and battered. Yet he pushed on. The championship rounds were nothing short of heroic. In the 10th, Inoue surged with renewed energy, attacking the body with venom and finding openings through sheer will. And then, in the 11th round, came the moment that will forever be etched in boxing history. Inoue landed a left hook to Donaire's body that folded the veteran in half. Donaire dropped, grimacing in agony, his breath stolen by the shot. Somehow, impossibly, he rose. The heart of a champion beat loud in his chest, and he fought on through the final bell. When the scorecards were read, Inoue was awarded a unanimous decision. Yet, in truth, both men had won. The bout was an instant classic, a war of attrition that showcased everything great about boxing: courage, resilience, skill, and mutual respect. After the fight, Donaire admitted he had never felt power like Inoue's. He spoke with humility and admiration, calling Inoue the toughest opponent of his career. Inoue, too, praised Donaire, acknowledging the immense challenge and the role the Filipino had played in pushing him to his absolute limit. Their shared respect would soon lead to a rematch. In the time between their bouts, Donaire captured the BC Bantamweight title, setting the stage for a massive unification fight. The rematch was different in tone and tempo. Inoue entered with greater focus, a more detailed game plan, and a clear mission: domination without compromise. From the first bell, he took control, neutralizing Donaire's offense and pressing forward with ruthless precision. By the second round, the fight was over. Inoue had delivered a knockout and a message. He had grown, evolved, and ascended to another level entirely. This second victory over Donaire completed Inoue's unification of the bantamweight division. He held the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO titles simultaneously, an achievement that placed him in the rarest company in the sport. His efforts earned him global acclaim, including the coveted title of Fighter of the Year from the Ring magazine. Yet, perhaps more important than the belts or accolades was the manner in which he had earned them, with humility, honor, and an indomitable spirit. Even as his record climbed to 28-0 with 25 knockouts, Inoue never appeared satisfied. He spoke often of legacy, not as a marketing term but as a deeply personal goal. His dreams went beyond victory. He wanted to be remembered as one of the greatest fighters to ever live. To that end, he continued to chase the biggest challenges, eyeing new divisions and new mountains to climb. Moving up in weight, he targeted new champions with the same relentless intensity that defined his early career. Inoue's greatness lies not only in his talent, but also in his mindset. He trains with monastic discipline, his camps characterized by precision, repetition, and a constant search for improvement. In the ring, he is a tactician, able to analyze opponents in real time and adapt with frightening speed. Outside the ring, he is soft-spoken, respectful, and humble, a stark contrast to the destruction he brings inside the ropes. That duality, the quiet killer, has captivated fans around the globe. His rise has also brought newfound attention to Japanese boxing. While the country has a proud tradition in the sport, Inoue has elevated its presence on the world stage. His fights now draw global audiences, with fans in America, Europe, and beyond tuning in to witness his artistry. Promoters and broadcasters have taken notice, and Inoue's brand has grown accordingly. Though he remains rooted in the values instilled by his father and trainer, Shingo Inoue. Their bond is central to his career, with Shingo's meticulous, guidance helping shape his son into a once-in-a-generation fighter. What makes Inoue's story particularly compelling is that it continues to unfold. Each fight adds a new chapter, a new test. He faces each challenge not with arrogance but with reverence for the sport and an understanding that legacy is earned, not given. For Inoue, boxing is more than a profession. It is a craft, a calling, and a measure of personal truth. He carries not only the hopes of a nation, but also the burden of greatness, and he does so with grace and unshakable focus. In a sport often mired in controversy and bravado, Naoya Inoue is a reminder of what boxing can be at its best. He exemplifies the warrior spirit, calm, composed, and devastating. His career, already historic, still feels like it's in its prime. Fans and critics alike await his next move with eager anticipation, wondering how much higher this already towering figure can climb. In the end, Naoya Inoue's story is one of fire and refinement, of genius shaped by grind. It is a story that has inspired millions and will continue to resonate long after his gloves are hung up. Whether he one day claims the crown as the greatest ever is for history to decide. But in the present, he stands not just as a champion, but as a living symbol of excellence in one of the world's most unforgiving arenas. His legacy, still in the making, is already a treasure of the sport.